بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم.
The guy, you don't ask him and he doesn't need to explain to you how Allah is one, how he's not two, how he's not half, alright? How he's, tashbih, and how you're going to get this sifa of Allah, this characteristic of Allah, or this attribute of Allah, and do you believe in this ta'weel, and this thing? Listen, the guy is simple guy. He says, what I see here, I believe. And there's certain parts of the Quran that are complex, not straightforward. Allah said in the Holy Quran, look in Surah Al Imran, beginning of Surah Al Imran, about the 4th verse, you'll find Allah says that I've given you two different types of ayats in the Quran. هو الذي أنزل عليك الكتاب منه آيات محكمات هن الكتاب وأخرى متشابهات. I've given you certain verses in this Holy Quran that are straightforward, and I've given you certain ayats in the Holy Quran that are dubious, so they have a meaning that is not so clear cut. So Allah said after that, فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ زَيْغٌ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ مَا تَشَابَهَ مِنْهُ ابتغاء الفتنة وابتغاء تأويله وما يعلم تأويله إلا الله. Allah says there's certain verses here that have this nature of having two kind of meanings, and Allah says those who have a crookedness in their heart, they start to go into these matters and start looking into that. Now if you're a simple believer and you tell me whatever I see in the Quran I just believe it, I just believe it, and whatever I can't understand I'll leave it. You are a believer. Right? The problem comes when people start taking guns out. Have you seen the guns? Have you seen guns? I'll tell you how it works. It goes, Ayn Allah. Akhi, tell me, where's Allah? Quick. 10 seconds, quick. Before I take Kafir. The gun of Takfir. I mean, it's such a cheap gun. And what he doesn't realize, the guy who's holding this cheap takfiri gun, is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, such a thing backfires. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said clearly in Bukhari, in a hadith Bukhari, whosoever will label another person as a kafir, and if that person who he has labeled is not a kafir, then that statement and that fatwa will come back and fall onto him. So you're going, kafir, and you don't realize he's shooting this way. You've got to be careful. You can't just go and do takfir on people. It's clear, the ulama have said, if you find a person with 99 signs of kufr, 99 signs of disbelief, and one sign that he may be a believer, then you've got to allow that space to still not judge him as a kafir. You've got to be careful. You've got to leave it to the most learned people to do it. You can't go ahead and start calling him kafir. It's such a massive matter, because you could end up as a kafir. From Rasulullah's fatwa. It's not my sheikh's fatwa, his sheikh's fatwa. It's Rasulullah saying this. You better be careful in what you're doing here. And the matter is not simple. Yes, I do understand. If there's something fundamental someone denies, and I'm going to come to that in this talk, something fundamental one denies, then a person may lose the faith and lose the deen. Right? But if not, then he won't.